Greetings YouTube! This is Toy Customizer Wakeangel2K1 and this has been my most requested figure of all time and also the one that I've put off the most. Now, I'm not trying to keep it secret, you probably read the title up there. This is Rouge the Bat. Now first, I just want to be very clear, this one's not the commission video, okay? Spike, Hedgelion 8, and Davin, the two guys who I'm working on right now. Here's the work in progress Mephiles head. The rest of the body's molded up, I just have to paint it. That's for you, Spike. And Davin, I got the Amy's right there that I'm going to turn her into honey for you. Won't take too long. Both of those guys, they want Rouge the Bat figures. This is not their Rouge the Bat figure. This is my Rouge the Bat figure. What's the difference? Well, well, there's a little bit of a backstory behind this particular Rouge figure and why I made her, which makes her a little bit more special than most of my other figures. This cost more, is what I'm trying to say. This figure cost me more to make than a typical figure would. So, if I were to make this as a commission, it would cost extra beyond my usual fees, is what I'm getting at. So, let's talk a little bit about the Rouge the Bat figure's history and what led me to create this. Rouge the Bat. What prevented me from making this figure for such a long time? Well, it started back in 2011 when Jazzwares said that they were going to make a Rouge figure. Having the sense that the Rouge figure was right around the corner, I resisted the temptation to make one myself, because I figured if I did, I'd only get scooped, the same way when I made Charmy the Bee and the Moto Bug. However, a few months ago, Jazzwares confessed that they had no immediate plans to make Rouge, not necessarily canceling her, but letting us all know that she was distant on the horizon at best. Of course, because I waited so long to finally come around and make her, I of course got beaten to the punch by other toy customizers. Some of the major inspirational ones to me are right here. This one is from Strapper01. You may recognize that username as he's the guy that made the stop motion animation for my videos, which I use for my theme song. And his version of Rouge was the Free Riders costume variant. He opted to make this because, like me, he was holding out hope that a Rouge figure would be coming from Jazzwares very soon, and decided to make an alternate costume so that when they actually did make the real Rouge figure, his wouldn't be completely redundant. Another excellent Rouge figure is this one, made by DeviantArt user GregorLink10. And the most amazing thing about this particular Rouge figure is that is 100% a silver figure that he customized. Yeah, I am really impressed that he was able to make the silver body curvy, and I am still absolutely gobsmacked that he was able to make Rouge's face look that good on silvers. I have brought my face right up to the screen trying to find seam lines, and I cannot tell where his molding begins and the original silver head begins. It's just that well made. I love the way the ears on this thing came out. I love the eyes. I love the hair. It's just totally perfect. The only minor nitpicks I'd say about it is that the joints don't look very well painted in the elbows and knees, but that's a common problem that all of us toy customizers have to deal with. And maybe Rouge's boots don't look exactly like Silver's boots, like they don't have enough of a heel. But really, those are really minor nitpicks, and this is an amazing Rouge figure. Something that I'd be very proud to make. By the way, I did ask why he just used a silver figure instead of part swapping easier to use parts like Wave's torso or head, and he said that it was because at the time the silver figure was the only thing he was able to get. So that means that he actually, built this from one figure because he really had no choice. Speaking of which, here's another one-figure Rouge. This is made by one of my more recent fans, ArtKing3000 from DeviantArt. This one's completely made out of a Blaze the Cat. Now the ears pinch off a little bit too small at the bases, but I still really love the way his head came out. It looks so smooth and round, and I'm surprised he was able to make Rouge's eyes over Blaze's eyes. I just never saw that shape before, and that he had the vision to see that really impresses me. Of course, there's just inherent flaws with using Blaze's body to make Rouge, and that Blaze is a lot slimmer than Rouge, so it doesn't quite capture the voluptuous physique, but the face and head are perfect. Alright, I've been talking for over 6 minutes about other people's Rouge the Bat figures, so let's start mine. Here it comes, without any further ado, Wakeangel2K1's Rouge the Bat figure. Unlike Gregor Link or Art King, my Rouge the Bat figure is a composite, and I've come up with what I think might be the ideal recipe, at least for me. So the head and torso come from Wave, the swallow. This is because Wave has the roundest head, and the non-conjoined eyes are already the right shape. She also has the curvy feminine body. Out of the 4 female characters that Jazzwares has made, she's the the most feminine. I mean, I loves me some Blaze, but she just doesn't have the body type to be Rouge, is what I'm saying. Okay, the arms and legs come from a silver figure, although they could be any character that has the bicep and knee swivels. The reason being that once the boots and the gloves are properly sculpted, I would lose the ankles and the wrists, so the bicep and knee swivels would be a good compensation. The hands had to be from a silver figure, because silver has the smallest hands, which are best for Rouge's dainty little mitts. And the shoes come from a Blaze the Cat, because they are the only ones that are high-heeled. She also has the wings from one of those chibi Toothless figures from Dragons Riders of Berk, and as you can see, the cuffs from a Free Riders Tails figure will be her glove cuffs, and the cuffs from a regular Tails figure will be her boot cuffs. That said, let's continue. Quick note, did anyone else notice that Toothless is just basically an axolotl with wings? I mean, it's not even like they made an axolotl into a dragon. He's just an axolotl dragon. I mean, look at him once I cut the wings off. I mean, that's just an axolotl. You don't believe me? Here's a picture of an axolotl. Yeah, see? I mean, I know a lot of people are used to axolotls being pink, but they can be black too. Yeah, look at that face. Come on. You can't tell me that somebody didn't look at this face and say, that'll be a great dragon for a DreamWorks movie. Come on. Wave's head, of course, had to be sanded completely round. Cut off her big feather pigtails, cut off the knot at the back of her bandana, cut off her goggles or shades or whatever they are, sand away the bandana so that it doesn't stick out anymore. Get all that stuff off, and then build it back up. You got to make it rounder. Got to give her a new muzzle, of course. Complete the little bit of her eyes that would have been covered by the bandana. Ears, hair points, all that stuff. And that's how you make Rouge's head out of Waves. Now, there was one thing that was always getting me. I was constantly frustrated by my white paints. White paints suck. They don't cover very well. They like to peel off. So I actually had Strapper01 send me a tube of Citadel paint all the way from Texas, because I can't buy them in any of my stores around here. The results are actually really good. That Citadel paint is excellent. It covers with much fewer coats and does not require sealant, and is much less prone to peeling than my previous paints. So yeah, this will be my white paint of choice from now on. These are Rouge's thigh-high boots. And I think this is where the inherent flaw of translating into a Jazzwares figure comes in, because when you make them out of an actual figure's legs, the thighs appear way shorter than they do in the video game. I guess I could have used like maybe Sonic's legs because they're a little longer, but then that would have made Rouge really tall. I mean, this figure is already a little bit taller than Sonic. If I had used Sonic's longer legs to make her legs look the proper length, then she would have looked outright out of scale. So this is just with the figure's proportioning. Like maybe if Wave's torso was a little shorter, I could have gone longer on the legs, but you live, you learn. This picture's fuzzy, but it is Silver's bicep and shoulder. And that is the Freerider Tails' glove cuff stuck onto it. I used my Dremel to bore out the middle of it until it was wide enough to slip over his arm. Just in case you're wondering how I did that. Like, don't go trying to cut off a glove cuff and then fit it out over an arm, because the hole is way too tiny, it'll never fit. And then when reattached to the lower arm, and, sculpt it up to look like Rouge's gloves, which have no discernible wrist if you've ever looked at her, you find that, there you go, that's the look. The gloves, which go up past the elbow, and again, they kind of make her arms look a little bit shorter than they are. At least the bicep part of her arm looks really short. But then again, that's because the bicep part of a Sonic character's arm is really short. I think it has to do with the giant hands, because the length of their palm is actually longer than from their shoulder to their bicep. I mean, that's completely out of human proportion, and it only makes sense because these are, cartoon characters, and you're used to seeing giant hands in cartoon characters. Rouge's torso. Now, unlike characters like Bunny and Sally, she, kind of has a top on. Which is nice, because I don't have to worry about sculpting the entire shape of the breast like I always do. Although, trying to make the cleavage, appear to be deep enough while also blending it in so there's no obvious seam between the existing chest and the part that I'm sculpting on is kind of annoying, especially when working at these really small scales. And also, making the border of the heart shape using the tools I have. Really hard to get these tiny curves in. I hope you appreciate what I do, because it can get pretty tough sometimes. And then you attach the wings to the back. Well, I attach the wings to the back. Most of the Rouge figures I've seen use craft foam wings, but I use actual factual toy wings. And I'm really glad that those Toothless figures are just the perfect size for this. So here's the completed Rouge the Bat figure. Only real flaw is I think the tails cuffs I used for her boot cuffs were a little too thick. And they sort of force her legs apart. Trying to fix that in post. But she stands. She has all the articulation that you could expect. Bicep swivels, knee swivels, which give her de facto wrist and ankle tilt. Her head actually is not pinned by the wings, which is what I was afraid would happen. She is totally flexible and she totally moves, and I'm not sure how well it's coming out, but she actually does have a molded lip with a little bit of makeup on. Ooh, okay, so that was the ultimate Rouge the Bat, for me at least. Don't really know if I'll be able to improve on her. So, Jazzwares, you made those 2 plushies after you said you canceled them, so now the ball's in your court. Let's see if you can do better making a Rouge figure. That's a challenge going out to Jazzwares, not other customizers, because, signing off.